Welcome to FYI. I'm Barry ZeVan, and the man next to me, his face will be so familiar to you, and his voice. He is out of Chaska, Minnesota, and his name is Mike Lindell, the inventor of My Pillow.
Very great to be here.
Great.
It's an honor.
My honor, and thank you so much, Mike. Your story is beyond Horatio Alger, and congratulations for all your success. First of all, in my opinion, your commercials almost tell it all. They tell, that you worked on this for so long and started in the garage, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
How did this all happen? Tell some of your background, please.
Well, I was born and raised in Minnesota here, and grew up in Carver, Minnesota, in Chaska, and I worked at a little grocery store in Chaska in the drive-in theater, Flying Cloud Drive-In. That was my first two jobs, and the last time I worked for somebody. I was an entrepreneur. I had lunch wagons. I had bars and restaurants in Carver County that I bought. I did and carpet cleaning business. I would just try anything, and with the pillow, I always had problems, with pillows going flat, using my arm and folding them, and I'm going, am I the only one that has problems with waking up with a sore neck or, sleep interruptions or, all these problems, and I thought, well, there's got to be something better, and I'd sold my bars, and I had a little bit of money saved up, and then I said, I'm going to invent this pillow, and I actually had the dream of the My Pillow. I believe it was right from God, a divine dream, but the name I got too right away, and I had the name My Pillow, and I was so excited. I wrote My Pillow all over the house. There's I'm right in the middle of the night. My one daughter comes upstairs. She goes, "What are you doing?" And I go, "I'm going to invent this pillow. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be called My Pillow." Back then they didn't have any My's, so it was like, it sounded kind of funny, but I'm going, "Where's My Pillow?" And she looks at me. She goes. She grabbed her glass of water. She goes, "Dad, that's really random." And she went back downstairs, but I started in on it, and my son and I, all my kids, but my one son especially, my youngest son at the time, he's like nine years old and 10, and I try all these different. We're in the backyard and on the deck and tearing up different kinds of stuff to put in a pillow, and foam flying all over the neighborhood, and my friends are going, I'm going to get a patent on this pillow, and I want it so you can move it and adjust it, and they're going, "Mike's nuts, he's crazy," but it took about a year and a half, and we finally got to, we were broke then, but we finally got him go, "Wow, this works," and I walked into a local store here, a box store, and I said, "I have the best pillow ever. You move it, it'll hold you where you put it, and all these things," and the guy looks, and I said, "How many would you like?" And it was a chain store, very well-known chain store, and he goes, "You need to leave." Like, "You're nuts, get out of here." But I was turned down everywhere. Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, paralleling with show business, people told Clint Eastwood he would never make it in show business. Don't pay attention to people.
Right.
A lot of people.
Exactly.
Congratulations. The patent process, is that difficult?
Yeah, with the patent and even the trademark, what's really, for entrepreneurs, a patent, it makes it so you can always make your product. That's one thing. But, there's so many things that it's hard to protect. You get copied, and that's, and stuff. But like the trademark I did myself online to get the My Pillow registered trademark, and it was funny because you have to have so you fill it out yourself, and you get so many minutes to type it. This is back in like 2004 or 5, and I had to bring in a faster typing kid. I said, "Come here, you type this," and I would say, time would run out, so we'd have to bring in another kid. But yeah, it's quite a process, and there was patent pending for a while. When I started out there, and I had the pillow done, and I was turned down everywhere, a friend of mine said, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had 4 little kids and no way to sell it, sell a product. So my friend said, well, my brother-in-law's brother, he said, well, why don't you try a kiosk? I said, what's that? How do you spell that? You know, I didn't know what a kiosk was. And so we did. We tried a kiosk in Eden Prairie Center, and we went in there and we borrowed money to do that Christmas, and it was. We didn't sell a lot of pillows, but we sold some. I'm going, wow, this is exciting. And then hearing back from the people that it helped, I'm going, you know, I'm going, wow, it works. It's not just me. And everybody had the same problems I did. I go, wow, I'm not different. And I knew there was just this big hole in the industry. But out of those 80 pillows in November and December of that year, we only sold like 80. And so we went further in the hole. And I didn't have a bank or any credit. And in January, I had given this guy my number. He says, you have a business card? And I said, oh, I'm all out. And I wrote it on a piece of paper and I gave him my number. And he called me up. He says, you the guy that invented this pillow? And I said, yeah. He says, well, I bought 2 from you at Eden Prairie there. And he said, that's changed my life. He said, it created a miracle in my life. And he says, I helped run the Minneapolis Home and Garden Show. And I didn't know what these shows were. I'd never been to them. And he said, I'd like you to get a spot in the show. And so I did, and I changed the way I went, the look of the booth, and I did the spiel then myself, and, started talking about it and to the people and directly, and I didn't think I could even do that. I didn't think I was very, skilled at talking to the people, but they were all bought. We sold out basically at that show. And then at least I had a way then to support my family. And we got in the Minnesota State Fair, and it just, it just did shows for 6 or 7 years.
Oh my gosh.
But,
So what motivated you to do the television spots?
Well,
I mean, obviously you want to advertise,
right.
but.
Well, here's what happened with the infomercials. So for 7 years or 6 years, we'd make the pillows, and I was. We'll get into it maybe a little later, but I was also an addict. I was a drug addict, crack cocaine, and so I had all these addictions. All these things kept happening to the company and to me. A lot of it self-inflicted, but a lot of it, going through all these things. And I had this dream of always doing an infomercial and going right to the people with the stuff I had done at the shows. When I had done the shows, people come up and they tell other people, and they're going, "This thing's amazing," and that what excited me. And that was well, and there 2 things happened. On January 16, 2009, I quit all my addictions overnight. I had one prayer to God. I said, I want to wake up in the morning and never have this desire again. And I woke up the next day and it was gone, and I'm going, okay, here we go. Because a pillow for me is just a bigger platform for a much bigger purpose. But it was very exciting at that point, and as things started happening, miracles happened to get up through 2009 and 10. Well, then in January 2nd of 2011, the Star and Tribune actually did a human interest story on me in their business section. And the sales just went whoo that day, and my kids were doing a show at the Burnsville Center in a little kiosk thing, or a little show booth, and the people were wrapped around, after this article came out. And I'm going, wow, advertising or just telling people what's real, maybe I can, take that article and make it just a real article. So I did an ad. It was a newspaper ad first. I just wrote my own newspaper ad. And I'm, just here's this guy holding a pillow, and they're going, and I'm getting calls from PR companies all over the country going, "Did you write this yourself? This is terrible." I'm going, "Yeah, I did, but but it was working, I put the ad in the papers, and it was making more than what the ad cost, and I'm going, wow, this is great." Well, then I told my friends, I said, you know what? If no one's going to take me out there, I was turned down at shopping networks, every place I'm at now, I was turned down everywhere all this time. And I told my friends and family, I said, let's make an infomercial. I said, well, I didn't know that commercials are just to get into the box stores, and nobody told me that you don't, about branding. I wanted to, bring it right to the public, the people. If the box stores won't take me, I'll go right to the people. So I didn't know it didn't work. I wanted to make it real with a real audience, and just a friend of mine. We ended up doing it in St. Paul, the studio over there. And I didn't have a teleprompter. I'd never been on TV, at least in that way like that. And there was a real audience. I was just really, really afraid. It was really, you know, just it was very nerve-wracking, and we did it, and it was like a live show, you know, and it aired October 7th. It was a half-hour infomercial, and it aired October 7th, 2011. I was living in my sister's basement, you know, complete, nothing left in the world. We had like 5 employees, me and my kids working, and October 7th, 2011, we had those 5. 40 days later, we had 500 employees. And by December 26th of 2011, we were the #1 infomercial in the world. It was just like, whoo!
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
One thing that, of course, I've been in this business for about 70 years now,
Yeah,
and that's the real
awesome.
truth. I started
Yeah.
at age 5.5.
Wow.
So I'm 80 now, but
Yeah.
and I was vice president of 3 advertising agencies in Detroit and Las Vegas.
Right.
And I'll tell you, not blowing smoke here, as they say, your spots could be a template for how it's really supposed to be done, because, and I'm not pitching the product here, but hey, let's be honest, this is fantastic stuff. The honesty that you convey over the screen, that's what gets me. And that, I think, is what gets people to buy your product, because
It's trust.
it's not only trust, but I mean, well, it is trust. You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right,
But you're so believable, and for a good reason. I mean, you're really telling it as it is.
Right.
And I just, and the other part of this too, I see in your recent spots, you're very philanthropic too. You want to help people too.
And you know this, when you talk about the advertising part of it and being real, you know, that's why TV and especially radio, with radio, you know, it's pretty easy for me to get, I don't care, pick any host in the country, I'm on every radio station now. I get them fitted and their family. And so now, if you don't believe me, you believe them, because they're telling it from the heart. You know, they're telling it from the heart about the product, about the company. For me, I reverse engineered what I would want, not only in a company, but in a product. And I view every single customer like they're my only customer. And what I would want to see, I just want to see truth and honesty. And now, you know, having over 1,600 employees now, to be able to them, you know, I give them all a pill when they come to work, and then it does 2 things. They feel better, they get great sleep, and then they know that every pill that goes out that line is going to help someone else.
Yeah.
And when you talk about the giving back and the philanthropy, with my foundation now, what I've done is kind of what I did in my company is I wanted to bring the truth back to that too. And what I did with that is, if you know, I don't trust foundations and stuff anymore, because how much money really goes to the cause? How much do they pay in themselves? Are those really my kids, or did they just print them off? And now with my foundation, you know, whatever the need is, 100% of your money goes to the need. You get to hear back from the difference you made, and I'm paying all the overhead and other donors. So it's just amazing to be able to, because people want to give out there, they want to help, but they don't know where now. You know. Yeah. They've lost that in this what we're living in right now is so much corruption that it's been lost in that field. You know,
that's fantastic that you've formed the foundation. What motivated you to do that?
What motivated me to do that is my own, you know, in my own company, I got rid of HR. I don't like corporate America. You know, you hire people, you keep a file on them just so you can fire them and not pay them unemployment. You know, 3 strikes, it's just like a negative. And I wanted it to be, you know, I go back to when I worked at I learned a lot at the grocery store in Chaska back in the day, and I worked, he said to me once, you know, I'd say, you know, I don't like these rules, or, you know, this. And he goes, Mike, why don't you get your own company someday and make your own rules, you know? But I just, as an employee, you know, I look at it from the employee's point of view, view too. What would, you know, not just the great pay, but also, you know, like at my company, if we have a deviation in an employee, okay, here's what I know. It's basically a help center, employee relations, not an HR. If they see somebody doesn't show up for work and he's a no-call, no-show, well, we find out why. You know, maybe he's got some addictions like I had, so we get him help. We pay for get him help. Or maybe you know, his spouse left him. Well, I don't feel like coming to work either. You know, we don't, or, you know, here's other things that happen. I had one guy wasn't showing up for work. He was coming up late all the time. Well, we found out he was walking from Belle Plaine to Shakopee to work, and I'm going, so I bought him a car. And everyone's going, well, how come you're not buying me a car? Because you didn't walk this part of work every day for 6 months.
Right.
And so we just, it's like a help center, and we validate the need, and then we verify, you know, we don't, you know, because there's a fine line when you run a foundation or whatever to where you have, you know, you can become where a need can become enabling and then entitlement. So we always run that, you know, to be able to vet the need and, you know, and take care of it. But I'll tell you, like at my company too, you know, if there's a, if something happens, if they're, you know, life-threatening, or maybe they had someone in their family die, or somebody close to them, we don't say, okay, like corporate America, well, you know, if it's your child or your spouse, you can 3 days we want you back to work. If it's an uncle, you better be back to work tomorrow. We let them stay away. We pay them when they feel that they can come back. That, you know, they're paid till they come back. The last thing they need is to have worry about money or whatever, and or worry about that they have to come back to work. And so we do all these things for what I would want is I view every employee like it'd be myself. Just say, you know. And if companies did that, we don't have things I used to, like, you know, problems anymore with, you know, you have this, you know, well, let's send them to HR. Let's all figure out this big, you know, political thing here, correctness and all this. You know, everybody gets along, and it's a great environment, and they love coming to work, and we all have the same, you know, passion. And if somebody, it works great too. If an employee's doing bad, if, you know, let's say it's drugs or something. The other ones know our thing, so they're telling on him, but it's not telling him, it's telling him to help him. You know, it's to get him help, not to lose his job, you know.
You've created the template for the way all businesses should be run.
Absolutely. You know,
it's called the golden rule, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, addiction just being a mask for pain, you know, you get rid of this guy that might have been with you 2-3 years in assets your company. Well, you've just now made it worse for him, you know. I mean, worse that he's, you know, I know people get they stereotype addicts, oh, they're just worthless. They did it themselves, you know. That's pain that you had, stuff that comes from childhood, whether it's trauma or whatever. And,
sure.
And that's a lot of my foundation. I really have a heart for your Salvation Armies, your Teen Challenge, your Union Gospels, these places where we have people in here locally. I work with them all, and they're just amazing outlets for help. And
that's marvelous, just marvelous. I have to tell the audience, the reason that I asked you to come on, I'm so thrilled that you did, is my wife and I bought 2 of your pillows and also the mattress cover.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, and this is long before I asked you to come on.
Right.
The first night, we have never slept that good. I'm 80 years old.
Wow.
She's 72. Mm-hmm. And it's like, wow. It really, and I did not believe it because your spots are so honest and so real. And I thought, yeah, I bet you this is going to be what he says, and it was.
Right. You know, Barry, there's 2 things there. One is back when I was doing shows here around Minnesota and here in the Midwest, I had to get through that. People said, you can't put a 60-day money-back guarantee on a pill. You sure can't put a 10-year warranty and wash and dry it and all that. All these naysayers, because in the industry, we had been lied to for so long. We all had this pillow pile, all these pillows piling up like cordwood, you know. You try it, it doesn't work, and spending all this money. So people did, you know, I had to get through that and go, you know, to show people, yeah, there really is this time a solution, you know, that's real. And then they always say to me, wow, it's been 12, 13 years. How can you have the same passion that you had on day one now? And you know why? Stories like yours. Because it helps people, and they'll look in your eye. I mean, you made a difference in their life. And because sleep affects everything we do, how you feel, how you interact. It's not the old commercials from other bedding companies. You know, we spend 1/3 of our life sleeping. Really? We didn't know that, you know. Yeah, we want to be comfortable there, but we want it to be quality. What about the other 2/3 of our life where sleep is as important as eating right and exercise? Right. And probably more important, you got your your brain's recalibrating. Then your body's getting its physical rest, but how you work. People go on they take vacations or time off. You can't enjoy it if you're tired, and all these different things, and how why do we think we have sayings, well, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or boy, you look like you slept terrible, or you're a little crabby, you need some more sleep. Well, these are things because everyone knows how much it affects, but nobody's ever realized. They used to say, oh, a pillow is a pillow is a pillow. It's not.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. And again, this is not a paid commercial, but I have to tell you, and it's perpetual. Every night, I cannot wait to get into bed.
Yeah.
Because I know if it's been a bad day, it's a good day, whatever kind of day.
It's a little oasis now.
It's there.
Yeah. Another thing too, that people, it's such a problem solution. One of the things I had that I hear from people too is getting to sleep. When the people that work shift work or whatever, or a lot of my radio hosts I deal with, or TV personalities, they'll work in these shifts where they have to get to sleep right away. I mean, I think I go way back now before I had my pillow. I go, wow, if I get to sleep right now, I get 4 hours. And then you're looking at, it's another half hour later. And then it'd be, if I get to sleep right now, I get 3 hours, It's like that countdown. And then your anxiety goes up, And so now I know when I get there, I'm out. That's it. I used to have a habit way back in the day of watching TV to get to sleep. Now the TV would be on because I'd be out,
Sure. What about international sales, aside from North America? Do you across the pond?
Yeah, I've been in New Zealand for a long time, in Australia. I just now I built a facility in England where we're gonna go. Where we're making them there for England. There was a lot of restrictions there, so we had to actually make them there rather than import them from U.S. to there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of weird, but I figure there's 33 million here, and there's a lot more people. We want to get our country sleeping the best first, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And we of course love the fact that you say on the commercials, I make them right here in my home state of Minnesota.
Yeah.
There are so many. I don't remember the product, but one product that's on television now, they say made in America. Well, America could be South America, Central America, or North America.
Right.
So what part of America is it?
Do it was funny, this summer I was at the White House and they had the Made in America products or Made in USA products there. The president had us there, and I actually went in there and I'm going, I see my name tag. I said, who's sitting here? He said, well, the president is. He wanted to sit by you. Well, we started talking about it. We started talking, and that was the first thing he brought up. He said, what do you guys think we should call it? Products made here, made in the USA or made in America. And they're going around, a lot of them are saying made in America because he's saying make America great again. I'm saying no, made in the USA.
Yep.
And that's what he used.
Great.
Yeah.
Good.
Made in the USA.
Yeah. So. It's, wow. Yeah. You've opened up a whole new world to so many people. What are there any plans for now? I actually should say, I see on the commercials you have a lot more than pillows and mattress covers.
Right. Yeah.
So what else is there that makes it different?
I've got people say to me all the time, well, when are you going to make a pet bed? We've had them. We've got. If you go to the website, we have pillows, travel pillows. They roll into their own pillowcases, pet pillows, beds. I have my own bed, the most amazing beds you'll ever sleep on. The mattress toppers, which take any bed, turn it into an amazing bed.
Yeah, we have one.
Yeah, they're just amazing. What I do is I take, like with my sheets. Now they don't have mills here that can make them here anymore for over a certain thread count. So you can't make the sheets here. So I said, well, I want to know where the best cotton is in the world besides the Sapima we have here. Well, it's a region called Giza over in Egypt, but it's called Giza. It's between the Nile River, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Sahara Desert. And the staples grow way longer. So I had a set a couple years ago made for me, and I slept on them, and I went to my office the next morning. I said, you guys, I don't know if I had to give up the pillow or the sheets, what it would be. And they're going, wow, we got our new product. So it was Giza, it was rare. It was called Giza 88, that level, and I bought that whole crop. so that I could make these sheets, and they're absolutely amazing.
So yeah, Egyptian cotton, when you're buying shirts or something, if you're in the available to or able to afford them, I should say, back in the day, Egyptian cotton was the best.
Right.
So
well, now what they've done too now, over there they mixed it with other stuff, so you don't know what you're getting, and that's what I just said. Like the Giza is the best of the Egyptian, and then Giza 88 was the best of that last year. So I bought all that gray goods, so I know it wouldn't get mixed with anything, and I bought it and had the sheets made there. I mean, there's nothing like them. I mean, and but that we've got. I've got it has to help me. People approach me for products all the time, and unless it helps someone, you know, I don't make it. It's not about the money. The money takes care of itself. I just want it to help people, either, you know, spiritually, physically, or mentally. It's got to help you somehow, you know. Wonderful. And that I believe all my products do. They help you in one way or another, and it's. I know all my employees want to thank everybody. I've got. We create careers at My Pillow, not jobs, and that's a big thing. We've. If you come to My Pillow, you're pretty much there. We do, though. Another thing I was going to say before with our employees, we let our employees, if they get a better opportunity, let's say they work for their dad in the summer, whatever it is, and they leave, and it's, you know, and it doesn't work out, or let's say go to school, they come back right in the place they were in.
Wow.
So that's a confidence. A lot of people don't leave where they're at, and they get stuck there because they're afraid that if they go take a chance, they can't come back to where they were at in their company. So that's a big thing we do too.
You should be running the country. You really, yeah. It just, I mean, in the business world and the way people should be treated and are treated. Congratulations.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
it's been a blessing.
Thank you.
I give the glory to God.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Mike, I can't thank you enough for being with us today, and
thanks for having me.
You're welcome. But I am going to give you a copy of my book.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, and it's available on Amazon. It's called Barry ZeVan, My Life Among the Giants. And if people want to give it for a gift or whatever, to your friends or your enemies.
I grew up. I was just telling you, Barry, before the show. I grew up with you. Barry ZeVan, the weatherman, back in, and I bet the book's amazing. Barry was telling me you wrote it all yourself.
Yes.
You know, I'm writing my book to these different writers and stuff. And what did you say? 3 hours a day for a year or 11 months?
11 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I know what it takes to write a book. I'm still trying to get mine out. Amazing. You were that due diligent and to be able to keep at it. Like,
it's all in my head, but I can't thank you enough. And again, thanks.
Thank you, Barry. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, and thanks for remembering the weather, too.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. Thanks to Mike Lindell.